Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bannermen YouTube channel. I'm Ayush,
I'm Vatsal.
And I'm Yash.
and we are the Bannermen. And we are back with another fantasy football video. But today is something different. Today we're going to tell you about the basics of the game, how to play it, some key tips, and overall about player selection, chips, and how to use your budget judiciously. So let's get right into the basics at first. So I think you all must know that there's a 100 million bank to select 15 players from. And out of these 15 players, five of them have to be defenders, two of them have to be goalkeepers, five of them have to be midfielders, and three of them have to be forwards. And out of them, 11 of them play, while the other four on your bench, and they are subbed on in case any of your 11 players fail to play even a single minute in the game week. So out of the five players, it's compulsory to have one goalkeeper. You can only have one goalkeeper, minimum of three defenders, minimum of three midfielders, and minimum of one forward. And apart from that, you can tinker and configure the formation as you like if you have met these minimal requirements. So let's discuss the team selection now in more in depth.
So, Vatsal, I wanted to ask you that how do you select your goalkeeper? I mean, what is your
I
strategy
don't
of picking?
spend I don't spend too much on goalkeepers, because you never know that if a goalkeeper would keep a clean sheet or not. I mean, the returns are not assured. So my strategy is that I don't spend more than 5 million on any goalkeeper. I just assure that he plays, and I pick from teams like Brighton and Burnley so that I can get those save points. We get save points, one save point for every three saves made. So yeah, my strategy is always that.
Yeah, and also
Uh,
with like you never know, even premium goalkeepers like Allison and Ederson are prone to conceding goals all the time, and they don't even get
exactly.
save points. Yeah.
Yeah, we have seen
So,
Liverpool's
yes.
form in 2020.
So,
So Alisson would
is your
be one
strategy
of
like
that.
picking two goalkeepers of 4.5, or like you are more inclined towards the approach that I'll pick one goalkeeper and one of around 4 million who doesn't play? So basically,
Mm,
sticking it to the same goalkeeper week in and week out to save up funds.
well, when
Yeah,
fans were in the stadium, it made sense to have two 4.5 goalkeepers whose home and away fixtures would be rotated. So you would be playing a home
exactly,
goalkeeper at any
exactly.
point in time. So, as we saw with Nick Pope last season, he ended up with the goalkeeper with the most points, and he came at the start of the game, he was just 4.5 million. So, this shows you that it's the more it necessary isn't the case that more expensive a goalkeeper, the more points he will return. No, someone like a Nick Pope at 4.5 gave you nearly 170 points.
That's right.
Yeah, but I also think that if you spend less on goalkeepers, you can spend more on other areas like top midfielders or top strikers. So yeah, it's always advisable to spend less on goalkeepers from my
All
end.
right. All right. So, who has been your go-to goalkeepers over the previous seasons?
At
Nick
first, it
Pope.
was Tom Heaton, and more recently, Nick Pope. It's a very big
Yeah,
shame that Nick Pope is now priced at 5.5 million. Such a key
that's
asset
true.
gone.
So true.
Golden days of Heaton, Butland, Pope,
Yep,
all gone.
Butland.
So
These
do you prefer
goalkeepers,
do you prefer premium defenders or not? Premium defenders as in defenders price over 6 million or not?
so my thing is you need to have the way that the game has evolved over the years. At first, defenders, we never used to really assess them from a attacking point of view. We used to more assess them from how many clean sheets would they give. But as the game has changed in real life, even the fantasy aspect of it has changed. We have now guys such as Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold, or even someone like a Luka Dean. These guys, their attacking potential is so high with the number of assists and number of goals they scored. We saw over the weekend, Virgil van Dijk popped up with a goal, Luka Dean assisted, and obviously
True,
Trent
true,
has been
true.
nearly topping the assist charts for 2 years
Yes,
now.
yes. So the game has changed. It's like fullbacks are more reliant now. And yes, so my strategy is mostly to rely on fullbacks in my five-man defense. And I avoid taking centre backs. But if someone like Van Dijk or say Yerry Mina, who have towering personalities and they can hit the ball straight in the goal, so those are good options. But I think fullbacks are the key. They deliver crosses, they go up to the wings. So your take on that?
Especially with teams such as Leicester and Liverpool. Like we saw this weekend, Robertson came in with an assist, and someone like both James Justin and Castagna had attacking returns. So in teams where the fullbacks are so attacking, they always give tremendous assist and goal potential.
So what do you
Exactly.
think? Teams with such great fullbacks, And with great defense records like Liverpool or even Leicester, do you think that we should double up on the defenses?
I wouldn't recommend doubling up right at the very start of the season. So it largely depends on fixtures and the form of a team. Doubling up defense always comes with a great risk that even maybe, maybe the game is winding down and your team is like 4-0 up and you have a double of their defense, and in the 90th minute, maybe they're not playing with the same tempo, and a slip of concentration or something like that allows the opponent to score. So that's two clean sheets lost at one go. So doubling up the defense always comes with great rewards if the team does keep a clean sheet. But on the flip side, the risk associated with it is also very, very massive.
And another question to you both is that do you apply the same approach, or is the approach completely opposite when it comes to defenders to that of goalkeepers? So like premium defenders from the big clubs, or like you would go for a fullback from a lower mid-table club.
Um,
So I usually assess the teams in the initial weeks, how they play, how the defense is. Like for example, teams like Wolves will always be very, very organized, very good at the back. So I keep defenders from these teams, and I usually select the cheapest defenders because I don't want to spend too much on defense. And teams with good records, good defensive records, always have the defenders at
uh,
more than 5 million. So
I
yes,
yeah,
personally believe that we should keep two cheap defenders if we are keeping one premium. So, for example, we are keeping Trent or Robertson, then we need someone like Mitchell or Tariq Lamptey who provide attacking returns but are on the cheaper side as well. You can bench them. So,
yeah,
like,
like there
totally.
was a phase in last season where Wolves kept like seven clean sheets, 7 to 8 cleans over a run of 10 games, and their defense, like you could pick two of their defense for like just 4.5, and it would give great
Yeah,
attacking runs.
exactly.
But now when it
But this
comes to
season, the situation has changed. They're all priced at 5 only. Vinagre is
mm,
at 4.5, I think.
and Traore is no
Very tough.
is playing at wing back. He's not a defender.
yep, Doherty has
Yeah, that
left.
is.
So maybe it's time for the Cody and Roman size show.
Yep,
Yeah,
because you can't double up on teams who are top defense and top. Like if you double up on Liverpool defense, that's nearly 14 to 15 million of your budget gone just on two players, and the risk associated with that is massive. Like one
Yes,
goal
and
and you lose
exactly.
two clean
yes, and
sheets.
also Liverpool have looked shaky, like
Mm,
in
yep.
2020 particularly when it
Yeah,
comes to
that's true.
defense.
So true.
So yes, about that. And do you have a okay? So what are your top three recommendations for
For
defenders this
defense,
season?
I would like,
Trent,
despite his
Trent
price
Alexander-Arnold.
as an honor, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
He
we
can
all
give
can
you
agree on that.
200. He can give you 200 points at just 7.5 million. Last season he gave nearly 210 at 7.5 million, and you had De Bruyne who gave 250, but he was priced at 10 million, nearly 10 million. So just 2.5 million difference, but the point difference is also like so little.
yeah, the points per million. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a better
Yeah,
investment.
true. So let's move ahead. Trent
A
and
second
who?
pick would be
I mean,
uh, Connor Cody of Wolves. Wolves have a great run of
Okay.
fixture.
yeah, or
And
Roman
Cody
size with him
plays
as well.
every game 90 minutes,
Yeah.
and his record has been good, no injury concerns as well. So yes, Connor Cody would be my second pick.
Third pick wouldn't definitely be a must-have, but like these are two options for 4.5 who are both of them are right backs. One is Tariq Lamptey from Brighton. He was phenomenal
Yeah,
against Chelsea. So many crosses, and he's playing a right wing back role. So that provides a
True, true,
natural
true.
inclination towards attacking
yeah,
defense.
we have
And
already
Brighton
seen what
defense
Alonso
and
can do
yes, yes, and Brighton's
at wing
defense
back.
looks very bright. In fact, this season.
Yeah, Ben White is
Yeah,
back.
wing backs are always better than general
Fullbacks.
fullbacks.
True.
If and Kyle Walker Peters is another option. Now,
Yeah,
I think Luca Dean will be of
Luca Dean,
great
yeah,
use this season.
yeah, he takes free kicks, he assists, he does
he
everything.
has he has had a great assist record over the last two seasons that often goes under the
I
radar.
think his free kicks will considerably reduce as James has arrived.
Yeah,
So
but
I don't think he'll be on free kick duties anymore. But
But
yes,
still, even if he takes one free kick or like
yes,
so,
yes.
and if he
There's
scores in
always
that,
yes, yes.
and we
Everton,
saw over the weekend, he took the free kick that led to the winning goal by Calvert Lewin,
yeah, and Everton
and he
have
has
bought in
great fixtures.
Alan, so they
Okay.
have
So talking about the last game, so Spurs were very jaded and tired. They were lackluster. They look very disorganized. Now they have hijacked the deal for Sergio Regulan. And so, what do you think? Like, what will be his price, and do you think he'll be of a great asset in
I think
FPL?
his price would be same as Ben Davies's, which is around 5 million, because both of them are
Yeah,
similar in terms of play. But and yeah, he will improve the left side. Ben Davies hasn't looked the player that he once was. His crosses have
yeah,
lost
he's
the
like not
whip.
so much vocal and not so much great in attack. He's will defensively stable, but Reguilon will give them another dimension in
We all
attack
saw what
from the
Reguilon
left.
can do. He was phenomenal in the Europa League this season.
Yeah, totally. And even the La Liga.
Yeah, another defensive recommendation could be Mitchell. Only priced at
Yes,
4.0.
yes,
He starred in Crystal Palace first game. While he started a left back because PVA Patrick Van Aanholt, who has been a very, very key part of that Crystal Palace defense, is injured. But once he comes back, maybe Mitchell drops to the bench. But keep an eye out keep the player on your watch list, because if he manages to get past
definitely. Yes,
Van Aanholt
definitely
at
a player to be
4.0,
considered as
yeah,
if even if he is benched, then you will not get a player less than 4 million.
yep.
Yes, and Crystal Palace do have a decent defensive record.
Mm. All right.
So yeah.